Did you know that two of our earliest pioneers were actually convicts? Judy, can you give me a bit of information?
Yes, Darby and John McGraw. Darby was transported for life in 1835 from Ireland for stealing sheep. And a few years later, his brother John was transported for stealing heifers.
Amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Reuben Packer-Hill. I'm standing at the Rafting Ground Reserve in between Brookfield and Pullenvale with Judy Magub, President of our local Kenmore and District Historical Society. And again, we're coming to you from location. We're back with another one of our episodes, talking about one of our earliest pioneers of the Kenmore and Brookfield area. So Judy, can you tell me a little bit more information about John and Darby McGraw?
Well, John and Darby eventually got their ticket of leave and secured a pastoral lease, 700 acres. It went from Mogul right through to Taringa, and they farmed this land.
That's amazing. So just behind us here we have the Mogul Creek, and you were saying that they owned land all along the creek all the way through to Taringa.
Yes, and they had sheep production for wool, and also cattle for the expanding fresh meat market.
So what happened from there on in? I mean, this was what, early 1800s, mid 1800s?
Yes. By 1850s, the land was starting to be broken up for smaller farms. But John Darby married Mary Pacey, another early pioneer family, and they lived in a homestead not far from here, just on a hill near the creek.
That's amazing. As we get a little bit closer towards Kenmore along Mogul Road, there's a bridge that we cross, McGraw's Bridge, John McGraw Bridge.
Well, in 1863, the first bridge was built, just a few years before John McGraw died. And now the current bridge is named McGraw's Bridge, after our early pioneers.
Of course, that's very relevant for us. Of course, the company I work for, McGraw Estate Agents, founded by John McGraw, indeed a different John McGraw to the one that, of course, we're talking about now. Judy, can you give me a little bit of information while we're down at the Rafting Ground Reserve? What was the Rafting Ground Reserve named after?
Well, it's right on the creek, and the logs used to be hauled down here by bullock teams, dropped into the creek, tied together with vines and chains, and then the men would take those rafting ground, the rafts down the creek out to the river and down to the timber mills in Brisbane or Ipswich, but of course having to wait for the tide to turn, so it would take a few days.
Of course, because they had to go with the outgoing tide?
Yeah, to Brisbane, yes.
Amazing. Yeah. Talk about a tough day's work, hey? Judy, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you next time.